Welcome back. With less than 75 days until the midterms, it's appearing the divide over data centers will make a major difference. Take Ohio, for example, where the race against incumbent Republican Senator John Husted has turned into a referendum on data centers. His opponent, Democrat Sherrod Brown, is leaning in on the issue, and he is leading in the polls. NewsNation even obtained this internal memo from the National Republican Senatorial Committee, warning that data centers have, quote, become a sleeper issue for the entire election cycle, adding, quote, if voters' perceptions of data centers are not fixed quickly, the campaign against them will expand far beyond Ohio, end quote. Over in Utah, the Stratos project, that's designed to become the world's largest AI data center. It's backed by celebrity investor and Shark Tank star Kevinoleary. That's also making waves. O'Leary recently admitted that he screwed up when communicating about data centers. I asked him to set the record straight, what he wants Americans to know about data centers. And I also asked this shark if he was biting or bailing on a few hot-button investments. Here's part of that conversation.
So I did make that statement because I believe in just being straightforward, transparent, and honest. And I felt not only did I not do a great job in communicating the merits of the project, but as an industry as a whole, because there are many of us building these projects, and they are very expensive and complicated. As an industry, we have screwed up. We have not communicated the merits of what these do for communities in any state. And so I've been talking to my cohorts in this space. Everybody's in the same boat. We need to do a better job in explaining exactly what a data center is, exactly how much water it uses, how much noise it makes, how much light it emits, but also how much tax it's going to contribute to the operating budgets of the counties or states or cities they're placed in. Most of them are going into rural areas because people don't want them in their backyard, as you've heard a million times. But there's also another aspect and a narrative that's coming up, and you heard the president talk about it and other executives inside of his administration. National security. We cannot let the Chinese beat us in AI compute, period. They cannot have better medicines. They cannot have better warfare tactics as a result of AI. They can't have better ordnance. We just can't let that happen, or unless you're happy speaking Chinese in 4 years, you don't want that to happen.
Moving on to the next one. I'm excited about this one and your thoughts. The WNBA. We know that's exploded in visibility with stars like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. They're bringing a huge audience for a game most of us love. As you know, there's also a lot of controversy surrounding transgender athletes. Just this morning, the WNBA commissioner spoke out. She said, listen, people are just trying to sow differences. But bite or bail, would you invest in the WNBA how it currently stands?
Yes, the league has done a phenomenal job in acquiring customers, essentially. They have been masterful at their use of media and social media particularly. The controversy around the players has only added to the fuel of interest, and there's no question there's a debate there. The stars are emerging. The individual players are creating, like a Jordan did way back in the day, and the way you can actually see how this is valued over time is in the sports collectible space, where these rookie cards that get signed in this league are going to become more and more and more valuable each year. And that's an open auction. That's an open cry. There's price discovery every day in the auction markets for these cards. This league is going to do very, very well because it's great product, it's great entertainment, and who's ever running the show there is doing one hell of a good job.
I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that. Okay, next, Neutrogena. They've come under fire after the late Hayden Panettiere admitted they threatened to fire her after she talked about postpartum. Getting a lot of attention. Bite or bail, Neutrogena?
She was being authentic. She was being real about what life is like. I mean, we all, you know, life is not roses every day. And as I like to say, poo-poo happens all the time. I actually felt closer to her as a person as a result of this. I know it's under a barrage of fire, but it's real. And I think people want authenticity everywhere. They want it in business. They want it in personal life. If you're going to use social media, you can't lie on it or you get canceled in 2 seconds. I mean, I'm okay with what happened there, but I also, you know, appreciate the dilemma of marketing a brand. I get it. Yeah. But authenticity trumps that. That's what I think.
And Neutrogena did apologize, so I should add that. You've talked a lot about the American dream, and you know this as much as I do. the dream was always work hard, go to school, buy a house. Well, now 74% of Americans say that dream is harder to attain than it was for previous generations. Does the American dream need a makeover?
No. It's worked for 250 years. The American dream is the #1 export of America. It's not energy and it's not technology, it's the American dream. And it's the only thing that every administration, the #1 mandate of any president in the White House, red or blue, is to make sure that they leave the White House with the American dream intact. And what does that take? Whatever it takes. Because it's the only country on earth where people are willing to lose their lives to get into, whether they're drowning in a river under barbed wire. I don't see it happening in North Korea. I don't see it happening in Russia. I don't see it happening anywhere else. This is where you have a shot, no matter who you are or where you came from or what your background is or what your religion is, you have a shot of achieving the American dream. We can never mess with that.
Besides the stock market, what should the average American be looking to invest in?
I think the theme for the next decade, for me, at least what I'm doing, is energy and energy infrastructure. I really think now we've hit a wall. The grid that provides electricity to your fridge, the library, the hospital, we're tapped out. We did not build enough electricity or power to support the economy that continues to grow in America. And so, for me, I ask myself, where's the picks and shovels for that? I mean, you know, data centers need power. We've talked about that already. But where's the next source of clean power? Nuclear power. That's small modular reactors, SMRs they're called. They were considered a swear word 20 years ago. Now everybody understands, wait a second, nuclear power, now we have new technology, and it's not Chernobyl anymore, it's not 3 Mile Island. So what fuels that? What's the real infrastructure? Uranium. So I'm going long uranium as a commodity. I rarely make calls like this, but I think the demand for uranium is going to be insatiable. In America, we use 50 million pounds of it a year, and we only make 1 million pounds. We don't have any uranium. Who's got the uranium? The province of Saskatchewan, or Namibia, or Kazakhstan. I think we're going to want to get our uranium from friendlies. And I think that's why Saskatchewan's going to end up being a good investment for me.
All right. Give me your number, Kevin. What's your Bitcoin one-year price target? Do the midterms change that outlook at all for you?
It actually has nothing to do with the midterm, in my view. The oxygen's been sucked out of crypto from AI in terms of an investment, and that's why it's stalled out. It's had a nice move in the last 48 hours. I see that. But the truth is, and even after, if we're lucky and the Clarity Act passes, the only beneficiaries are going to be just two positions, Ethereum and Bitcoin. All the rest don't matter, because the institutions that will buy it after it becomes legal have already looked at it and said I get 97% of the volatility with just two positions, Ethereum and Bitcoin. So the other 10,000 coins aren't going to, they're in the toilet now and they're going to stay there. I just think there's a chance for two things to happen. Okay. And again, I go back to where's the puck going on investing in crypto. Somebody is going to create a blockchain around quantum, which is, you've heard the word quantum as something that could break the algorithms where even Bitcoin is stored, so we need security there. And one of these blockchains, probably Ethereum right now, is going to become the standard for the S&P 500. So all of this stuff about contract management, inventory management, logistics, it's going to go onto one blockchain. I don't know which one that is, probably Ethereum, but if something else emerges, you want to be long that one.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.